This is a trademark framework that all of you are about to do a 2 to 3 minute pitch on in your breakout rooms. And oh, by the way, every accelerator, if you didn't hear last night, Grant said, who's accelerators? I want to see some of those in the comments. Who is that? No, let me see in the comments. Yeah, look at all those. Look at all those. 600 plus of you. 600 plus accelerators. Give it up for the 600 plus. Did you hear what Grant threw in last night? He said, man, we're going to do an all-day. I can't do my Grant because I don't want to lose my voice. But he's like, we're going to do an all-day pitch-off. We're not done with this pitch-off. Like, we're doing an all-day pitch-off. Every accelerator is going to get the chance to pitch off their businesses. And then we'll narrow it down to fewer, and then a fewer. And then we will actually host like the top 10 or top 15 that get to share it in front of Grant Cardone's team. Every accelerator gets to do that. Do you know why I got to recommend them to do the pitch off? Here's the thing. I'm going to go behind the curtain now why this is so critical. I thought it would be one of the most powerful things that could happen at boot camp every single time. But I also wanted to give you a chance that I got a few years ago to get your chance. And some of you invested $2,000 to take that chance, which is a no-brainer investment. And you took that chance, and you got noticed. Grant knows who the 30 are. He knows who the 10 are. He could probably tell you the names of the top 3 or top 4. And so the other top 10, he said top 10. And so the other reason it was for you. It's your chance to get that opportunity, but I don't want the opportunity just to be here. I want it to be with all of your customers. So what I want to do in the next 12 minutes is I'm going to show you how to pitch using this framework. Using this framework. And if you can wrap your brain around this framework, you, in 3 minutes, you say, well, that worked for Grant. Well, I was at an event a couple of years ago. I used this framework on Grant, but I was at an event a couple of years ago at another guy who's an incredible guy that you would know his name. And his director of marketing came up to me and said, watch this. What do you do? Anybody ever get that question? What do you do? Anybody in the chat ever get that question? What do you do? I want to see. Yeah, a lot of you. And a lot of you just throw it right there. He said, will you come tell me? I went and told him on the next break. I was a paid attendee at his event. I went and told his director of marketing on the next break what I did. The following week, we were signing a multi-million-dollar contract with him. Multi-million-dollar contract. That's the power of this time. So this is what I want to do. I want you to get this. The first part of this, it absolutely starts with the heart. Now, there's some misconception that you have to tell your personal story, which is not necessarily the truth, but people want to connect. Man, I was paying attention to Grant's eyes. I could see these guys when they were locked and captivated. How do you connect with somebody's heart? You do it from a couple of things. You've got to help people know that you're ordinary just like them and that you've walked in their shoes. When people cannot feel that you've walked in their shoes before, it's very hard for them to relate with you. But they also want to know that you've done something extraordinary. Extraordinary. Guys, they want to know that you've gone somewhere in your health, your money, your finances, your business, your digital marketing, whatever it is. They want to know that you've done something extraordinary. And what does this do? It presents the gap. The gap. That opening heart is intended to allow the wall. Do you know everybody has a wall? They have an imaginary wall that you cannot see. I knew when I walked into Grant's office there was an imaginary wall. You could see it because the guy gets pitched all the time. There's an imaginary wall, but you gotta break that imaginary wall down. And the way that you do imaginary wall goes down. The other thing that's very important in this opening heart is not to introduce a bunch of terminology or language that will confuse them. It's all about connecting. It's all about connecting. And you don't have to have some major story to connect. You just got to help them understand where you've been, where you've gone, and now all of a sudden they're with you. You cannot forget either one of these. You cannot forget either one of these. The second thing that you want to do, now watch this, this is where it becomes beautiful, is that you want, now that you've got the heart, now you want to focus on the head. All the head is filling in the gap. What are your 3 to 5 steps, your process that allowed you to go from here to here? What is your process? You know what nobody was talking about last night? You weren't talking about really your process of what you're going to do to go from here to here. You know why? Because most of the people last night didn't have a sales and marketing plan. It's hard to talk about something that you don't have. They were intended to talk about their sales and marketing plan. So the second part that you want to do is you want to teach the gap. Teach the gap. People's hearts are now down. 3 or 4 of you knocked it out of the park. Right out of the gates, you knocked it out of the park. And then you maintained all 5 minutes. But you got to teach the gap. I was here on day 1, and I was here on day 2. You know what most people do? You know what the internet marketing space tells you to do? Tease the gap. I'm going to tell you one of the things I love about Grant. He does not tease the gap. He teaches you the gap. Too many people tease the gap because they're like, they won't buy from you if you don't teach them. BS. But here's the decision they have after you've taught the gap. Dude, I saw Grant do these role playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happens if all of these people come spend 2 days getting this whole thing dialed in? I mean, he was role playing with you in different scenarios. He was teaching you. Like, did you feel like Grant's been teaching the crap out of you the last couple of days? Yeah, look at all those hands. Like, he's been teaching you, not teasing the gap. It's your job to teach the gap. And guess what? You teach the gap. This is what Tom Ziglar told me, Zig Ziglar's son. Now it leads you into the hands, which is the
You guys
call
want a photo?
to action. Watch this. When you
3,
teach
2,
the gap,
1.
you now can make a call to action. Some of you did that powerfully last night. Kim, Russ, you guys did it powerfully. Russ, if there was one thing I would teach you to learn last night, after you heard Kim say 80-20, I would have probably made the adjustment in the morning at that time to say 80-20 as well. But you guys gave a clear call to action. And if you realize this, here's the thing. Jared, Brandon, Grant, everybody who stepped foot on the stage this week, you've got all of the information. They've taught you everything. I can't wait to hear Brandon's session right after lunch. Like, I'm going to be front row taking notes. But here's the decision that your customer has to make in this moment.
Page over your receipts.
Do I want to go apply the information, all of this stuff that they've taught me
You
on
need to go
my
too
own?
expensive, I don't
Or
know.
do I want to go have them do it?
Would she send the email out to everyone?
And with
No, but she will. The letter? Yeah.
Gasket, yeah, go. Can we get his mic on? Hey, Grant wants to know how many of you didn't apply to be in the speaking thing, but wish you would have now after experiencing last night. He's right here looking at all of the chat.
Yeah, because I'm sitting over here, just so you guys know, I'm over here watching Pete right now because I want to learn how to connect better with you. And when last night was over, I'm like, I started saying, Pete, where are the Hispanics?
Yeah.
Where are my black brothers and sisters? Where are the younger people? Where are the older people? Like, I looked for all the demographics that were missing from the presentation last night. But where are the super successful business people? Where are the startups? I didn't see those. I saw so many groups of people missing. I just want to tell you, I look forward to each of you having more confidence in yourself that the next time we do a pitch off, that you show up. How many of you regretted not showing up and giving it a shot last night? And if you did submit and we didn't pick you, don't, come back and submit next time. Number of times over, we become more aware of who you are. I was a little bitch. Somebody said, my daughter's here reading that, by the way. Okay. All right, great. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah. So, hey, call to action. I'm going to tell you what Russ did well, but what Kim missed out on. Russ last night, by the way, know them both very well. Russ could have made an adjustment to make his call to action match Kim's call to action. So he could have made it an 80-20, just like she said. But here's what Russ did more powerfully than Kim. Russ presented a partnership opportunity, not a one-time transactional opportunity. When I pitched Grant, it wasn't about, I want to be on your stage. No, it was, I want to be in partnership with you.
It's a good thing that,
Guys, call
to
to
say to the
action.
clients,
When they can feel like
Like
they're
when I
part
hear
of
just
your
to clean your
community.
gutters once.
When they can feel like
Yeah,
they're
I
part
always
of your
say that.
partnership. I was talking last night about with Elena, with one of her masterminds. That's a rock. Who's been to any of Elena's events by chance? Who's been to Elena's events? Unbelievable, right? So we were talking about this idea that I won't give away yet, but I was talking about by the end of the time, they're all going to want to be a part of your next level community. Like, make it feel like a community and a partnership, not like just a one-time thing. That's what Russ did better last night. The call to action, making it win-win. Win-win is critical. Letting them see their win, you don't even have to talk about your win. A lot of people think they have to talk about their win when they see their win. When Grant saw his win that day, my win happened. My win happened. Last thing. Fourth thing. Here's the other thing that the internet marketing space says that I do not agree with. Okay. I'm gonna kind of trying to go, I didn't do a good job of spacing it out. The